Hi friends, Reverend Katie here, back with our very last day of our devotional series, The Weary World Rejoices by Kate Bowler. And it's hard to believe we're at day 23. Day 24, we will be in worship, and our Advent season comes to a close. It has been a long 4 weeks, but a truly wonderful 4 weeks. We have been through now the first week of hope, the second week of peace, the third week of joy, and we are in the final week of love. And our title for our very last today is Stone Catchers. And Kate reminds us of the scripture in John 8, when Jesus is standing in front of a woman who is about to be stoned. They're about to throw stones at her. And he says, "Whoever among you who is guiltless may be the first to throw a stone." And lawyer Brian Stevenson, who is very passionate about justice, as we are in the week of the promise of justice, said that this moment reminded him to not be a stone thrower, but a stone catcher. That Christmas is a time for us to not see people at their worst or as the worst thing they've done, but through a lens of love and grace. And so our first question from Kate today is, how do you understand the relationship between justice and mercy? I think this is a deep question, and one we might not necessarily think about. I feel justice can be very unique to a person's perspective. If an injustice has happened to them, justice might be different for what they feel. But mercy is offered regardless. It feels like something that is extended beyond circumstance, something God extends beyond circumstance. So justice, to me, feels like bringing a tyrant down from on top of their throne. Mercy is still treating their wounds. And I think it's a hard thing to do when we look out into the world, to be just and merciful. But I think if we all had a little more mercy in our hearts, we might let a little more light in. And Kate's second question for us is, Jesus came to be the judge who knows how to thread the needle between justice and mercy. What is the justice you seek? What is the mercy you long for? We look out into the world and it is troubled. There is so many better words to describe it, and so many words that are just not enough. Justice that I seek will always be for those on the margins to be fully seen, heard, and treated with love and dignity. And the mercy I long for is that we will take the time together to understand, to the best of our abilities, one another. That we'll listen more, that we'll try harder, that when we don't want to open our hearts to one another, that we hold on to grudges, that we hold on to differences. We can choose to set those down and choose mercy instead. And it's no simple feat, but one in which we must choose love over and over and over again, as God calls us to do. And Kate invites us to respond by saying, Jesus told the religious leaders of his day that morality was bigger than their rules could contain, and yet it could be summed up in two simple principles. Love the Lord, your God, with all your heart, and with all your soul, and with all your mind, and with all your strength. The second is this: love your neighbor as yourself. There is no commandment greater than these. That's from Mark 12:30-31. think about the most unjust situation in your world right now. How might these principles help to address it? It's not hard to see that polarization, where we can't even sit in a room together to talk without seeing our differences like a giant towering wall between us, is a problem that affects us like no other. I think the first thing we can do in those situations is to remember one another's humanity, that we are all simply living this life, trying to do our best, trying to care for our loved ones and ourselves, and trying to make use of the gifts God gave us, trying to find God in the ways that we have felt God's presence. And mercy and love and justice is at the core of how we greet one another as neighbor, how Jesus greeted every single person he met, with mercy, with justice often, but with mercy, to either inform them when something was wrong, to be honest with a person who was struggling with a dilemma, to reach out to someone who had been so used to people pulling away. Jesus was there. Jesus still is there. And Christmas is that wonderful time of year that even if the festivities and celebration might not be your thing, or even if it is so important to your tradition, the most important message of Christmas is that in the darkest seasons of our lives, Christ comes again and again and again and again and arrives with us, here to remind us that good comes to the world always. And as we close our devotional today, this is a blessing for savoring Advent. O God, we're here at the tipping point when Advent has poured out all her wisdom, every blessing and every gift of anticipation store. They are ours already, tucked into our pockets, waiting to be drawn out and treasured in the time of this new mystery before us, your holy birth and our celebration. Bless us this Christmas, though we are not ready. Slow us down so that we will be able to remember your truth, your compassion, your restoration, your justice, and that good things come in small packages, portable and human-sized, for your burden is light. Good things come in tiny, maybe that's why they call them child-sized, fun-sized. Jesus is here, my friends. May your Christmas be merry and bright, and I hope to see many of you tomorrow night. And until we meet again, and stay tuned because we might come back with a series like this for the season of Lent. Until then, I bid you all a wonderful holiday season, wonderful Christmas, and an exciting New Year. Bye-bye.